I'm Oskar.
And I'm Dan.
And today we're in
country 99 of Brunei.
We understand the people boycott the Sultan's hotel in the UK.
I got a cousin there.
Really?
99.
If you're new here, we're Oskar and Dan, and we've been traveling the world together for the past 8 years. We're so excited to finally be reaching our long-time goal of 100 countries so soon. And in this video, we're exploring our 99th country of Brunei, a small and quite controversial country on the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia.
Just quickly before we get into the video, since this is our 99th country, this will be the last video before we share our big trip to the highly anticipated country number 100. If you want to make sure you don't miss it, make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned for our next video coming very soon. Now, let's get into the video. Good morning from two sleepwalking ghosts at KL airport. We got up today at 4:30, but that was after a pretty much completely sleepless night, and that's not because of where we're going. We both just couldn't fall asleep at all.
I have no idea why. All the sounds in our room felt amplified by 100 for me. And yeah, we'll see how today goes. One thing that's just so crazy is comparing Air Asia to low-cost airlines in the rest of the world. There's literally USB charging in every seat. The seats recline. The hot seat. Okay, I thought it was an adjustable headrest, but it's just a fluffy headrest. It's just so good. Before we land in Brunei, we want to say a few things. First off, we're travel vloggers and not journalists. So while we are of course highly skeptical of certain laws in Brunei, we went there to meet and talk to locals, to hear their opinions rather than the government's opinion. In fact, what we found were some incredibly friendly people and some very interesting conversations.
Second, we absolutely respect that some people wouldn't want to visit countries where they are not protected by the law. For us, we don't want anything to limit where we go and what we can do in life. We think that visiting all types of places can be very valuable. First of all, it shows locals in person and online that whatever they see or don't see in their home country, there are people like them out there who see them and take interest in them. It is also important not to reject people who think differently than us. We can talk, learn something from each other, and show that we are all people with the same needs, fears, and desires. This was truly one of the most fascinating trips we've ever had, filled with unexpected moments and encounters. Brunei is such an unknown nation for most of us, so we know that what you'll see in this video will show a vastly different country from what you and we expected. Alright, we've landed, we're waiting for our bags. Immigration was super smooth, super fine, and the guy who handled us was so sweet, it was so smiley, and was like, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, good start. It is like, oh, that's your bag then. It is frigid in here in the airport though, for whatever reason, probably like 15 degrees, so we're both shaking to bits. So since we have the new iPhones, we can only do eSIMs, so we already bought one before our flight, but if you want to get a SIM card when you land here, there's a booth right there.
So yesterday we were watching a vlog by a girl called Josie that was so fun when she went here to Brunei, and she said that they have 40 taxis in the entire country. So we're a bit like, how the hell are we going to get from the airport? Hopefully a few of those 40 taxis are here.
Yeah.
Wow, what an amazing mosque to see from the arrivals hall. Okay, success at the ATM, and so far so good. Everyone has been very friendly, even the passport control officer.
Oh my god, guys, look what they have. For everyone watching from the Philippines, they apparently have Jollibee at the airport.
Wow, very nice actually.
But again, it's like a freezer in here.
So we're staying at the only international hotel brand in all of Brunei, which is the Radisson here in Bandar Seri Begawan, right?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
I wonder if they say like BSB.
I think they just call it Bandar.
Bandar. Yeah, because I'm like, I can't say Bandar Seri Begawan every time. But this is so great. They let us check in at 9:30. He asked us what bed type we wanted. We said we don't care. And he gave us a double bed.
As always, when we go to countries that, at least on the surface, are more socially conservative, we often tend to book twin beds. But at check-in, the guy asked us, and that happens sometimes, like, do you want a king bed or do you want twin beds? And we just said, whatever is available, it's fine. And I think he kind of got it, and with a little wink, he gave us a king bed. So that was really nice.
So you see, the adventure with going to countries that aren't so often touristed is that there's no information online. So we
Yeah.
pre-booked tours for today and tomorrow.
And all the tours had like 2 reviews in total. So it was
Yeah,
like,
we only booked 2 full days here because we decided, you know, what you've heard about Brunei, we just thought it's best to go 2 days. Because of that, we were like, let's not put the planning on ourselves to make these 2 days as efficient as possible. Let's just get tours for both days, which we did. But it was like $100 per day. I mean, 50 per person per day. It's not crazy expensive, but now we realize we could have easily booked it through our hotel for cheaper. And he said we can just go down to the water and get like someone to take us super cheaply on their boat.
to go to the floating village, which is like one of the main sites to see. So
Yeah. So I'll let you know about the tour later, but so far, I don't know what I imagined. It's Southeast Asia after all, and we have never been to a place in Southeast Asia where people are not nice. But people
Yeah,
here are
that's true.
so friendly. On that note, bedtime.
It's time for a nap. That was a good and well-deserved nap. Didn't really sleep too much, but now at least we have some energy to use for the rest of the day. And I'm just gonna show you our room already. Has turned into, I don't know what this is, but it's chaos.
Now we need to go down and meet our guide. Immediately as we entered the car, our guide Faisal started telling us so many interesting things about Brunei from his perspective.
This is the only temple we have in Brunei after the Japanese occupation. And this is a Buddhist temple. And this land is given by the current king's father. The current king today is number 29, and his late father is 28, and we call him Omar Ali.
Well, he's
So-
the 29th.
Yeah, the current king is 29. Our history is way back about 800 years. The first sultan that embraced Islam.
Yeah.
Okay, before that we like 18th, no religion, but then he brought in the Islam. Very long name with the title of the king and his name. Kebawah Juli yang Maha Mulia Paduka Seri Baginda Sultan Haji Hasan Bolkiah Muizzani wa Daulah Ibni Almarhum Sultan Haji Omar Ali Saifuddin Wadin Sultan dan yang di-Pertuan Negara Brunei Darussalam.
That's like knowing the numbers to pi. Our first stop of the day was the overwater village Kampong Ayer, a part of town that's been preserved since pre-colonial times as the original building style of Brunei.
Watch your head.
We need to wear this life jacket.
We learned that this is how you point respectfully in Brunei. I mean, we've always been told pointing is rude, but we've never had a good alternative until now.
Why?
That's a
So
fire
Malaysia
station.
and Malaysia use the word
On the water.
Yeah,
They're not really gonna run out of water at that fire station. Steady.
So now we're exploring Kampong Ayer, the floating village. And apparently these waters are infested with crocodiles. They haven't seen any yet, but they say absolutely don't go swimming. And look at this, how big the gaps.
It's actually very terrifying. Like the minute he said that. Like,
I'm glad he made us keep our life vests on. But some of the wood is like soft. And it's quite a big draw.
what happens if you throw like food into the water?
If you throw food, all the fishes come out. You know, like catfish.
Yeah.
There's a lot of catfish. If there's a lot of big catfish, there's a big crocodiles.
Oh, really?
It's so crazy when you get somewhere where people live with a constant threat that to you just seems so insane. Like this water underneath the village is just filled with crocodiles. But somehow, like to them it's just so normal. They're like, oh yeah, there are
Actually,
crocodiles
you can
everywhere.
pull it.
Before the island of Borneo was colonized, this is how most of the neighborhoods were built here. All the houses were on stilts, there were no roads, you would just, you know, go by boat to the different houses. So it really is like a rainforest type Venice. How are you?
Hi.
Hello. So over here, they recently built like a new neighborhood, a new part of Kampong Ayer with modern houses, but they're in the same style. So they're all on stilts, just like the old ones. And I must say that the contrast between the new and the old buildings is pretty stark. But yeah, it's really cool to see that they kept the tradition of building this way, actually. Look at this house.
This is giving Alice in Wonderland.
It really is.
Now he's painting another color again.
Oh.
Lama sudah lah kita.
So
He
cool.
didn't know when he started, but it's been a very long time ago.
Yeah.
After he retired. Behind you. See pottery house.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
example of his house.
Now we get to go into one of the houses.
Assalamualaikum. Please, have a seat over there.
Thank you.
And you unroll it slowly because it easily break these cakes inside.
Okay.
So this is like a pudding. So you eat bit by bit.
Ah.
This is a sticky rice. Now this is a bad habits of Brunei. Please have a try.
What is inside?
It's no filling. You try and put it in your mouth.
Just sugar and sticky
Yeah, dip in the
rice.
sugar.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and try
That
it.
can't be bad.
That is actually nice.
How
Okay.
could it be bad?
Yeah.
It's good. That is our habit. Tapong baras, bulanar.
So this was rice flour, coconut milk,
Yes, in the pandan leaf,
Pandan leaf?
water juice.
Yeah.
Yes.
and that's
And
it.
the raw sugar.
And the raw sugar. Pandan is so good. It's all very like simple, but it's so good.
It
Yeah.
is.
This is giving a completely new meaning to the term overwater villa.
And also the current king are very humble, very generous. Spend a lot of his time and his money just to develop Brunei and help the local people here,
Yeah.
especially education, health and medical services is all free of charges.
You pay no tax also, right?
Income tax, totally we don't pay. After we accepted to study in one of the university, we will get every month allowance from the king
yeah.
after graduation, so we actually can work either with government or private sectors. But those who are being sent overseas get the Sultan scholarship. They have to return and work for the government.
Our next stop is the Royal Regalia Museum, which is basically a museum dedicated to the king and his riches. So I think we're gonna get to see a lot about his lavish lifestyle and I guess different artifacts from the history of the monarchy. So it'll be an interesting visit for sure, I think.
Assalamualaikum. Sa pohon kayu tutukan cepat ya.
Okay, we're not allowed to record in the museum apparently, so we're putting our phones in a little locker here, and then we'll let you know what we learn once we come back out. So we just finished an hour-and-a-half tour of the Sultan's Museum. For now, I think we're heading onwards. We're just gonna take a few pictures. And for me, behind Oscar is the coolest thing in this museum.
Let's just say that this museum makes our Swedish royal family seem like the most humble family on the planet. This whole building was built for the king's coronation and it has only been used once. It was only used for the coronation and since then it hasn't been used at all, and that was over 50 years ago. If I remember correctly from my research before coming here, mainly from watching Geography Now, the Sultan's net worth is something like $20 billion. So there's a lot to spend on these kind of things, right?
I have a goal to visit 100 countries by the end of this year.
Wow, excellent.
And Brunei is our country 99.
Indonesia, you visit already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last one in Southeast Asia apart from East Timor.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are really great. Brunei was known as the biggest empire up to the Philippines, Luzon, Palawan, Sulu, Mindanao. It's all Brunei territory. We won't welcome anybody come to Brunei. Brunei, even though it's Muslim, but we don't attack because Islam don't say we have to show violence to any other religion. No, that's wrong. In Brunei we practice Sunni, and then in Brunei the the king's very religious person, and he will not accept any other than Sunni. Okay, no Shia, no so on. So every religious person who work for government, all the priests, I say the imam, are recruited by government because we don't want any misleading about the Islam.
There's no freedom of religion then. Like with the temple, are there Buddhists?
Yeah, Buddhists, yes.
Yeah?
The Chinese Buddhists.
Yeah.
And also Sultan gave the land, which is the Sultan's father, for the Christian.
Time to cover up for the mosque.
I feel like I'm in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah! Sky is getting a bit ominous.
Yeah, we better hurry.
Sharia law was only instituted in 2014, right?
No. That one is actually they implement. They want to put it more serious. Actually, Sharia is already exists since the 9th Sultan of Brunei, Muhammad Shah, which is during the 7th century.
So it was only tightened.
Tightened, yes,
Yeah.
on the 2014. We understand the people boycott the Sultan's hotel in the UK and in the United
Yeah.
States. They should understand. We actually just to justify to make sure that people follow not to do wrong things. Okay, in Middle East, in the previous years, where I heard people say when the thief stealing,
Yeah.
they chop their hand and they kill them and chop their hand immediately. No, Sunni will not do that. Sunni say you bring up with 2 witnesses who actually be interrogate, and then same story. If it's same story, then they go to Sharia. If it's different story, so this means they fake, they lie. So they will transfer this case to the civil court. We try to stop no stealing, no robbery, such thing like this happening in Brunei, and no adultery. And then if adultery happen, this one is different. You must bring 4 witnesses. It's a man, no woman. And this man no wearing spectacle like me. They must have a good clear vision.
Really?
You know, in olden days you don't wear glasses. So according to Islam, you must have these 4 witnesses in the Quran says. So they are actually there standing, looking. These 2 couples are doing the adultery. Why they're standing there? Why not joining them? This is what I'm trying to explain to you. Impossible you can find such witness like this. So dismiss trial, transfer to the civil, and they pay fine and release them.
So the law is very seldom applied because the criteria
Yes.
to get judged under the Sharia is very high.
How to find these 4 witnesses?
Whether or not we agree with what's being said, it is of course interesting to hear about these things from a local's perspective. This entrance is only for the king and the royal family. The commoners' entrance is over there. And apparently it's not uncommon for the crocodiles to come out of the water and climb onto the cars here. Let's just hope that hasn't happened right now. And now we're here by the royal palace, and it seems like our timing of coming here was perfect.
We're like paparazzi. The royal family is coming out of the palace. Good timing.
When they give the salute like that.
Oh my god, another rainbow! Wow. Oh my god, it's finally dinner time. Oh, Jesus.
Our first meal of the day at 6:30 p.m. Today has been, I mean, it was actually really fun exploring, but just exhausting.
Don't try this at home, kids. As we tried to make our way back from the restaurant, we ran into a bit of a hiccup. Now the Brunei taxi shortage is making an appearance, so we have to get back to our hotel from this restaurant. And so the way we have to go about this is calling the hotel, letting the staff here at the restaurant talk to them, and then for the hotel to call the taxi to send it here to bring us back to the hotel. So it's a bit of a logistical challenge. And if it wasn't raining outside, we could have walked home, but it's pouring, so that's not gonna happen.
So in the end, the taxi came after 45 minutes. We're back at our hotel an hour after we originally called the taxi. Wow, what an intense day, but we learned so much. Like, our guide Faisal was amazing. The amount he talked, he gave us enough information to last us 10 years about Brunei.
Alright, it's day 2. We finally got some sleep, about 10 hours last night, so that made up for the sleepless night. the day before. So we feel a lot better, maybe not 100%, but we are ready to tackle the mangroves, head into the start at least of the jungle here and try to see if we can find some very interesting creatures along the way. The Borneo jungle is one of the most biodiverse areas on the planet, and Borneo is the third largest island on Earth. Today, we would see some of the unique wildlife here on a jungle boat safari. I just asked our guide if we're gonna see crocodiles today. They just said if we're lucky. And I was like, so if we're lucky we don't see them, right?
We want to warn sensitive viewers before we show the first thing we saw on the boat safari. Here's your warning. 3, 2, 1. The lizard is eating the head.
Oh my god.
It's a cow? Oh, there's several lizards just eating. I'm gonna look at the big one.
Wait, what are those lizards?
They're
They're just eating the carcass.
3 monitor lizard.
Oh my god, there's another one here! Oh, there's another one right here! Oh my god.
This video, this is
Yeah.
very good chances.
Do you know what killed it? Do you think a human killed it or an
They
animal?
get poison.
Ah, poison.
Yeah, if something doesn't fit it.
Back in the 90s, my parents did like a big trip that they saved up for to go all around Asia. And they went to Komodo Island in Indonesia. And for some reason, they decided to have this huge picture of a Komodo dragon on our living room wall. So like my entire childhood, I saw this picture of this Komodo dragon. And I was so like afraid of it. And like to this day, when I see a monitor lizard or anything that looks like a Komodo dragon like that, I'm just like, why was that there? It's so funny. I've spoken to my mom about it so many times. I'm like, why did you put that there? But I guess it brought the realities of nature into our home.
Okay, we found a crocodile.
Okay, let's not get too close. I love it. The crocodile in the trash.
Wow, the crocodile. Oh, it went down. It saw the trash and went down. There's like houses right here too.
Did we find him or did he find us? That is the question.
That's when we saw the main event. The super cool and quirky proboscis monkeys that we had been dying to see.
Because they're afraid of sound.
Oh my god. So cute. We have to speak quietly.
You will sit somewhere around here with a long nose, and if the other male saw, will kill this male and then kill the babies, and then the female, some of them run away or some of them will follow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is the nature of it.
Oh my god, a whole family. We see the huge nose. What is that? I always want to say promiscuous monkey. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Quick, quick, quick.
oh, the alpha now. Oh, easy for him.
Good job. That was amazing. My guide said she's never even seen that happen before. We're so lucky.
I wish. So that was fun. A
Wow.
very relaxing and peaceful place.
Amazing. And we
Yeah.
saw so many different animals.
Yeah, we really
in
did.
one bright light.
So
Wow.
cool. So this is our amazing guide, Sandra. If you want to contact her if you're coming to Brunei, we'll put her number here in the description. We
She's been
definitely
amazing.
recommend it.
Thank you.
Before we leave, we just need to show you this super fun and heartwarming encounter that we had during check-in at the airport.
I wanna go.
That's so funny.
Just everyone's bags get lost.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're gonna do a very good job, to be honest.
You're working in Brunei?
No, just visiting.
Transiting.
Yeah, 2 days transit. Yeah.
Coming in from?
We came from KO,
What do you do?
Sweden. Yeah.
I got a cousin there.
Really? Really?
Really?
My aunt,
Yeah.
my mother's sister is married to a Swedish.
Oh.
Will you visit sometime?
Yeah, she keeps saying, you should come, you should come.
It's expensive
It is
and
way too expensive.
really
Way too
cold.
expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then my aunt is like saying, you should find a Swedish man. It's like,
That's the way to do it. That's the way
I
to do
don't
it.
think you would like it. It's too
The only
cold.
way,
No.
right?
yeah, I know, when the snow comes
And
in.
it's so
Yeah.
dark in the winter.
I know, because my aunt is like, because we update in the group chat. So she tells us what happens in Sweden.
Yeah. Our trip to Brunei can only be described as very interesting. In a way, it was the weirdest and most different place we've been in a long time. Since the country is so small, it almost felt like visiting someone's family where everyone looks up to the supreme patriarch. But one thing we will always remember was finding a people that were so friendly and hospitable, and through our conversations with them, we discovered the same thing that we've discovered about practically any country we visited. People are people, and people are not their governments. With that, we thank you so much for watching as always, and want to remind you that our 100th country will be revealed in our upcoming videos, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Until then, take care, show everyone some love, and see you around the world.